This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of Disney parks. Truly the happiest place on earth. Honestly, whether you're with kids or Disney adults, I love Disney parks. They're one of the places that bring me the most joy. And some people could say there's way better places that you can go for a vacation. There's way more authentic experiences that Disney parks are so curated and so artificial that it's just a waste of time. And true, true. There's no doubt about it that Disney parks are, by definition, probably one of the most artificial places on earth. The happiest place is also the most artificial place. But that's because the Imagineers at Disney take so much time to craft every small detail within the park. And that's at least what gets me. It's the pure craftsmanship within these Disney parks. When I'm walking down Main Street, I just feel the love from Walt when he first created this back in, I think, like 1950 or something. And I think that's one of the things that it is for me, is it's just a representation of one man's vision. Walt Disney, for better or worse, some people hate him, some people look at him, some capitalistic god. Regardless what your views of him are, he did transform a few industries. He completely transformed animation. He basically popularized the musical genre for film and television. He helped pioneer loads of technological advances, and he gave birth to the family theme park. I'm sure fairs always existed and parks, whatever, but there was something super special about Disney, and again, it is just the whole atmosphere. It is the cleanliness. It's how it is centered towards the children. I personally don't even care about the IP, really. Mickey and the gang, and all the different, animated characters. I could care less about them. It's more just the overall feeling of being within one of the Disney parks. And for someone who hasn't been, or maybe doesn't get it, they might just see a really expensive price tag. Or it's just the same thing every time you go. That you can get more unique experiences elsewhere. And that is true. It's definitely important to go out and seek different experiences. But the nice thing about going to either Disney World, Disneyland, or whatever, you're guaranteed a baseline. You know what you're in for. You're in for beautiful sights, beautiful sounds, beautiful smells. I've never gone to Disney as a Disney adult, like without children or whatnot, but I can imagine that also being a lot of fun. Because let's face it, kids are expensive. You're going to have to do what they want to do, where there are some curated events specifically for people with money or Disney adults. And I think it's weird that Disney adults are specifically labeled a thing when there are plenty of theme park enthusiasts that travel to theme parks across the country, or even maybe frequent their own local spots. I guess it's based on this misconception that Disney is meant for kids, but really it's meant for everyone. Families, single people, it doesn't matter. As long as you have money. I take it back. Disney is for people with money. And I hear that people honestly go into debt to go have a Disney vacation, which that is extreme. I feel like in today's day and age, there's a lot of pressure on parents to give their kids a good childhood. But it's never worth it to do something like that. That's when you are going to have expectations, where then things are going to be stressful, and it won't be as fun for everybody. But if you have the disposable income, can plan a good deal, Spirit Airlines, Frontier Airlines, depending on what part of the country you're in, you can find a pretty reasonable flight to like Orlando. Anaheim's crazy. Good luck trying to get to Disneyland, depending on where you're at. But literally, I feel like if you are east of Nevada, you're not gonna be able to get a very cheap flight over to Anaheim. And it just seems that everything that Disney does is just of the highest quality at their parks. Their rides, their food, their shows, their music, their cast members. It just seems like they really are putting their best foot forward with everything. Because it knows what they're trying to do. Some theme parks are trying to be extreme, and that means you're going to have to keep adding extreme stuff. But guess what? The more times you do something extreme, the more tolerance you build for that feeling. So you go on an amazing roller coaster once and you're like, wow, that was amazing. I can't wait to do that again. Your dopamine's firing. You do it again. You're feeling on top of the world again. But then you do it a third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, and that special feeling starts to dissipate. You get diminishing returns. Versus some of the classic Disney rides I've gone on for decades, and I am still not sick of it because you can't really get sick of top tier presentation. Yeah, I've seen The Big Lebowski before, and I still love it the 100th viewing. It's the same thing for the Haunted Mansion or the Pirates of the Caribbean. God, I love Disney dark rides. Even as an adult to this day, I would take like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or Pinocchio's Scary Adventure over any roller coaster these days. After 30, I feel like I can't even do roller coasters. And that's another thing, is that Disney is so accessible to a large population of people. When you go to one of those high intensity theme parks, some people may feel left out. People who are older, pregnant women, people with disabilities just might not be able to actually get the full value of those parks. Where at Disney, sure, they have a few thrill rides, but there's nothing that's gonna really, there's gonna be enough for everyone to do something. Whether it's a show, whether it's experiences, whether it is a more gentle ride, everybody can have a fantastic Disney time. But honestly, just the actual theming of some of those dark rides at Disney is insane. One of my favorite things to do, this might be a little embarrassing to admit, is if I'm bored and just need a little bit of a Disney hit, I will go on YouTube and just watch like ride-throughs of different rides. And it's so much fun. I don't care how sad it is, how pathetic it is. Whatever brings me joy, right? Because the thing about those Disney dark rides is it completely transports you to another world. I mean, I can't even imagine what an 8-year-old is feeling when they're going through Pirates of the Caribbean, when they're going through that town that's on fire. I mean, they're probably feeling like, we gotta get out of this boat. This building is on fire. That's how convincing everything at Disney is. I just want to get lost in the lore. I want to get lost in the craftsmanship. Even just waiting in lines at Disney can be interesting. All the fun gags they hide, the decorations. Again, everything, every square inch of Disney is meticulously crafted to pique curiosity, to give visual appeal. That's one of the cool things about at least the original Imagineers that Walt Disney hired to design a lot of the rides and experiences at Disneyland, is that he brought animators on. He brought special effects artists from his movies because they had a special skill set that maybe an engineer doesn't have. Sure, an engineer can design you a ride. Sure, an engineer can put a cart on a track. But that's not going to tell an interesting story. That's what these animators did. That's what these special effects artists do. They are focused on the story and how the guests are perceiving what they're seeing around them. The actual mechanics are probably one of the last things that actually get finalized, where the first thing they need to focus on is, how does it look? How does it feel? What's the story? And you feel that just going through a line. If you really look around you, you find characters, you find a beginning, middle, and end that usually actually continues onto the ride. Usually everything that you see sort of builds up until you get onto the ride, and then you kind of experience the climax of the story. So yeah, it is artificial, but a lot of things that we enjoy in 2025 is artificial. The videos that we watch are edited to hell. Music that we listen to doesn't have any real instruments. Hell, now even the people we talk to online aren't even real, okay? So don't shame me because I want to go experience something at the so-called happiest place on earth. A place that really seems like they're trying to do a good job. And that's something that just seems so rare in this day and age going out, is finding an establishment that has people that seems like they care. And I don't mean to be a Karen, and it's not that I expect every worker to like bow down at my feet and treat me like some god. No, but I don't know if it's the money, I don't know if it's the benefits, I don't know if it's just the environment of working at Disney. I understand that the cast members at California Disneyland did recently strike and succeed in getting some sort of benefit, so it is still some sort of job. It's not a perfect place to live. But usually when you walk amongst staff and you see a consistent pattern of smiling faces, helpful people, you know that there's got to be something within that culture that is promoting what is missing in a lot of services nowadays. If I could take care of all my needs and I was like a millionaire and not just like had $1 million, but actually like a millionaire with like a decent income to perpetuate that, I would get season passes to Disney World, Disneyland, whatever, even though I'm not even anywhere close. I would have any excuse to go there, spend days at a time, because again, it's not about even doing anything at the Disney parks. It's about just being there and basking in the glory, in the mouse's glory. One thing, though, that I don't know how I feel about is when Disney takes their theme park rides and try to transition them into movies. The reason why I'm iffy about that is because I feel like they've had a lot of success and failures in this endeavor. Of course, probably the shining example of the success is the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. But was that so much because the movies were so good, or that Johnny Depp just has that sort of appeal? I don't know, because honestly, as a kid looking back on it, I only truly remember seeing the first one a lot. Like I remember seeing the first one in theaters, maybe even a couple times, owning the DVD, and then I remember seeing the second one, being pretty hyped, all right, let's get that third one. And then I remember seeing the third one maybe once, and then I was like, I don't need to see this again. And I don't even believe I saw the fourth, fifth. Is there even a sixth Pirates movie? I don't know. I know that Johnny Depp is all gone. I think the other actors might be gone as well. If they can keep it alive, good luck. Have fun. And then you have the not so good ones, and this might be controversial to say, but Haunted Mansion, they've tried a few times now, one with Eddie Murphy, and then this new current release, but it never seems to really work. And this was one of the issues with creating the Haunted Mansion ride, is even trying to just like pin down the theme. When you look at all the other Disney rides, you can usually tell what's supposed to be, what the theme is, what the mood is. You go on Jungle Cruise, it's supposed to be some sort of humorous jungle adventure, emphasis on the humorous. But when it comes to Haunted Mansion, it's got this weird energy of both being very frightening at times, but also having some very hilarious gags. I mean, there is somebody hanging in the stretching room scene. That always stuck with me, okay? I mean, I can't believe that in the Disney parks there is somebody hanging, whether it was self-inflicted or somebody else murdered them. It doesn't matter, it's there. But it's still fun and very memorable. So it kind of gives kids probably almost a very confused feeling, honestly. You start off and it gets so creepy, but by the end, you're smiling and having fun going through some fun sing-song graveyard. And it works again when it's a theme park ride. But when it comes to these movies, the tones just always felt really strange. It just never seemed like it was scary enough, and when it did try to be scary, it didn't read well, which made like the comedy kind of awkward. But what did come out really well is the Jungle Cruise movie. I don't care if The Rock is a little overplayed. What is that? Emily Blunt as well. Jungle Cruise is an incredible movie. I hope that one gets a sequel. I would watch that. As much as people dog on The Rock, I think he is good for this role, honestly. But the fact that it's got Paul Giamatti, it knew what it was trying to do, and it translated well into the actual movie. And then, of course, there's a lot of forgettable ones, like the Space Mountain movie. And there are still potential. I'm surprised there's not a Matterhorn movie, honestly. So that's why I'm really conflicted, because I guess it is, you gotta use any opportunity you can to kind of create that synergy between the parks, the movie, the merchandise, because that's really how Disney operates. It creates this cycle of this whirlwind of interest. A kid sees the movie, they want to buy the toy, they get a attached to the characters. They go to Disney. They're excited. They become adults. They want to recapture that. And they have kids. It's, again, cycle continues. I find that the Disney parks are an American institution. I find it weird when Americans dog on Disney. That's like our home team. Mickey Mouse should be our official American mascot, or at least Donald Duck. We should turn Donald Duck to our official American bird. What is more American than Walt Disney Animation? I mean, there was a one time that Mickey Mouse was bigger than Jesus. I would definitely say in 2025 Mickey Mouse is bigger than Jesus, but that's more a commentary on how Jesus is less popular. Just like how Muslims are supposed to journey to Mecca, I think every single American needs to make a pilgrimage to either Disneyland or Disney World. If anybody can get this done, I bet it's Donald J. Trump. President 47. We have to tweet at him. He's not going to be on Blue Sky. Apparently that's all woke right now. But I bet if we get President Trump aware of this message, he can sign an executive order that guarantees every single American gets to go to Disney World or land at least once in their life, that there will be a registry at Disneyland. You gotta give them your social, your driver's license, whatever, but you show up, you give them your information. If you've never been before, you just get to go in. Everybody should experience the mouse at least once. I would say at the very least, it should be a requirement to get a green card or to become naturalized or something. You think I'm joking, but I'm really not. So if you've never been to a Disney park and you have some extra scratch laying around, maybe start looking into tickets and looking into flights. You might be really surprised if you've never been. And for you Disney adults out there, don't let other people tell you what to enjoy. Stay strong. We know it's the happiest place on earth. If other people don't want to accept the truth, that is their loss. This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment.